Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a Startup Grind. Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a Startup Grind.
SummitCast de StartupMat y hoy tenemos un capítulo especial en el que presentamos a Adrià Castany, CTO y co-founder de Modest. Y este es un capítulo muy especial ya que hablaremos de cosas muy importantes al final, como el emprendimiento, el Tech Summit, también hablaremos de las vivencias de Adrià en su día a día en su startup, Modest, y también las cosas que vayan saliendo, estoy seguro que serán muy interesantes. ¿No, Alberto?
Efectivamente. Y sin más dilación, empezamos.
Muy bien. Adri, ¿qué tal?
Nada, un placer estar aquí. Muchísimas gracias por la invitación, eso es lo primero de todo. Y nada, súper contento de poder asistir hoy.
Bueno, antes de nada, voy a presentarte para las personas que nos vayan a ver en este podcast. Eres CTO y co-founder de Modest, una startup que está aquí en Mataró. StartupMat también somos de Mataró. Y hemos decidido traer a alguien de la casa, porque al final la casa se tiene que cuidar, ¿no? Y también al final Adri estuvo el año pasado en la Pitch Competition del Tech Summit.
Sí.
También estuvo de stand en el Tech Summit. Y Modest, si no me equivoco, yo creo que lo sabemos bastante, Alberto.
Welcome to Startup Grind. And it's coming people from around the world. We have people from France, we have people from Italy, we have people from Finland, we have people from United Kingdom, a lot of people coming from around the world to this event.
Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a Startup Grind. Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a Startup Grind.
Esto es SummitCast de StartupMat y hoy tenemos un capítulo especial en el que presentamos a Adrià Castany, CTO y co-founder de Modest. Y este es un capítulo muy especial ya que hablaremos de cosas muy importantes al final, como el emprendimiento, el Tech Summit, también hablaremos de las vivencias de Adrià en su día a día en su startup, Modest, y también las cosas que vayan saliendo, estoy seguro que serán muy interesantes. ¿No, Alberto?
Efectivamente. Y sin más dilación, empezamos.
Muy bien. Adri, ¿qué tal?
Nada, un placer estar aquí. Muchísimas gracias por la invitación, eso es lo primero de todo. Y nada, súper contento de poder asistir hoy.
Bueno, antes de nada, voy a presentarte para las personas que nos vayan a ver en este podcast. Eres CTO y co-founder de Modest, una startup que está aquí en Mataró. StartupMat también somos de Mataró. Y hemos decidido traer a alguien de la casa, porque al final la casa se tiene que cuidar, ¿no? Y también, al final, Adri estuvo el año pasado en la Pitch Competition del Tech Summit. Sí. También estuvo de stand en el Tech Summit. Y Modest, si no me equivoco, yo creo que lo sabemos bastante, Alberto.
Welcome to Startup Grind. And it's coming people from around the world. We have people from France, we have people from Italy, we have people from Finland, we have people from United Kingdom, a lot of people coming from around the world to this event.
Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a Startup Grind. Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a Startup Grinds.
Esto es SummitCast de StartupMat y hoy tenemos un capítulo especial en el que presentamos a Adrià Castany, CTO y co-founder de Modest. Y este es un capítulo muy especial ya que hablaremos de cosas muy importantes al final, como el emprendimiento, el Tech Summit, también hablaremos de las vivencias de Adrià en su día a día en su startup, Modest, y también las cosas que vayan saliendo, estoy seguro que serán muy interesantes. ¿No, Alberto?
Efectivamente. Y sin más dilación, empezamos.
Muy bien. Adri, ¿qué tal?
Nada, un placer estar aquí. Muchísimas gracias por la invitación, eso es lo primero de todo. Y nada, súper contento de poder asistir hoy.
Bueno, antes de nada, voy a presentarte para las personas que nos vayan a ver en este podcast. Eres CTO y co-founder de Modest, una startup que está aquí en Mataró. StartupMat también somos de Mataró. Y hemos decidido traer a alguien de la casa, porque al final la casa se tiene que cuidar, ¿no? Y también al final Adri estuvo el año pasado en la Pitch Competition del Tech Summit.
Sí.
También estuvo de stand en el Tech Summit. Y Modest, si no me equivoco, yo creo que lo sabemos bastante, Alberto.
Welcome to Startup Grind. And it's coming people from around the world. We have people from France, we have people from Italy, we have people from Finland, we have people from United Kingdom, a lot of people coming from around the world to this event.
Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a Startup Grind. Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a Startup Grind.
Esto es SummitCast de StartupMat y hoy tenemos un capítulo especial en el que presentamos a Adrià Castany, CTO y co-founder de Modest. Y este es un capítulo muy especial ya que hablaremos de cosas muy importantes al final, como el emprendimiento, el Tech Summit, también hablaremos de las vivencias de Adrià en su día a día en su startup, Modest, y también las cosas que vayan saliendo, estoy seguro que serán muy interesantes, ¿no, Alberto?
Efectivamente. Y sin más dilación, empezamos.
Muy bien. Adri, ¿qué tal?
Nada, un placer estar aquí. Muchísimas gracias por la invitación, eso es lo primero de todo. Y nada, súper contento de poder asistir hoy.
Bueno, antes de nada, voy a presentarte para las personas que nos vayan a ver en este podcast. Eres CTO y co-founder de Modest, una startup que está aquí en Mataró. StartupMat también somos de Mataró. Y hemos decidido traer a alguien de la casa, porque al final la casa se tiene que cuidar, ¿no? Y también, al final, Adri estuvo el año pasado en la Pitch Competition del Tech Summit. Sí. También estuvo de stand en el Tech Summit. Y Modest, si no me equivoco, si yo creo que lo sabemos bastante, Alberto.
Welcome to Startup Grind. And it's coming people from around the world. We have people from France, we have people from Italy, we have people from Finland, we have people from United Kingdom, a lot of people coming from around the world to this event.
Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a Startup Grind. Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a StartupMat.
Esto es SummitCast de StartupMat y hoy tenemos un capítulo especial en el que presentamos a Adrià Castany, CTO y co-founder de Modest. Y este es un capítulo muy especial ya que hablaremos de cosas muy importantes al final, como el emprendimiento, el Tech Summit, también hablaremos de las vivencias de Adrià en su día a día en su startup, Modest, y también las cosas que vayan saliendo, estoy seguro que serán muy interesantes. ¿No, Alberto?
Efectivamente. Y sin más dilación, empezamos.
Muy bien. Adri, ¿qué tal?
Nada, un placer estar aquí. Muchísimas gracias por la invitación, eso es lo primero de todo. Y nada, súper contento de poder asistir hoy.
Bueno, antes de nada, voy a presentarte para las personas que nos vayan a ver en este podcast. Eres CTO y co-founder de Modest, una startup que está aquí en Mataró. StartupMat también somos de Mataró. Y hemos decidido traer a alguien de la casa, porque al final la casa se tiene que cuidar, ¿no? Y también al final Adri estuvo el año pasado en la Pitch Competition del Tech Summit.
Sí.
También estuvo de stand en el Tech Summit. Y Modest, si no me equivoco, yo creo que lo sabemos bastante, Alberto.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to StartupMat Tech Summit 2025. This is our 4th year of annual event, and today our event director, Jordi, came up with new ideas, and this year we are having workshop and podcasts. And this is the first podcast we're doing at StartupMat. Okay. We are here today with Mark Morera, CEO and founder at Apisearch, and I am Alex, founder at Heavy Dots. Okay, first of all, I'd like to give a thanks to our sponsors. Our main sponsor here, we have a lot of merchandising. Okay, Rayola Networks, the best hosting company for you. Okay, that's the camera. If you have a website, a web application, remember about them. And they are great people. They give us a lot of merchandising, even edible ones, like chocolates. Or, okay, I don't know the name of this. Okay, we also have Moon Kombucha. That is a very nice drink from here, a local drink from Maresme. And also we like to thank CaixaBank Day One, Atico, BitJaws, Albert Pocket Productions, Techno Campus, of course, that is where we are right now. And of course, Ayuntamiento de Mataró, Mataró City Council, and Diputación of Barcelona. Okay. How are you, Mark?
Pretty good, thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you
very
very
nice
much.
to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for If you like the idea, maybe we can go a little bit into your background and your company, and yeah, a little bit about your story for people that don't know you.
I am a developer. I think this is something important to know about me. I'm not an entrepreneur itself. I'm a developer. Just a little bit un poco más bajo.
Okay.
So I think that this is important to understand more my road from the beginnings. I've been developer since like 20 years ago, when I started developing at university, and I've been focused basically on PHP, which started helping me so much understand how computers work. And I've always been involved with e-commerce.
E-commerce project.
Yeah. I was a developer at Ulabox, the first developer at Ulabox.
Ulabox. Okay,
Yeah, it's
something like Wonderbox, something like that?
No, it's like online e-commerce for groceries. And,
Okay.
Like
so
Mercadona, online Mercadona.
Okay.
That's the point. I was a developer there, so I started learning a lot of things around e-commerce, around search engines, around how to work from the scratch on something that is going to help you to sell to people. From that point, I've been always working with e-commerce, basically.
Okay, so that's like your niche of expertise on e-commerce.
Yes.
You can say so.
Yes. That was on one side. On the other side, I've been involved on PHP communities.
Yeah.
I've been
We can
involved.
make the parenthesis. We met actually like one of your talks, like 7 years ago,
Yes.
about PHP.
I was actually working on API Search already.
Okay, already you were starting. Okay.
Yeah, my main focus it's been PHP and Symfony. I was the organizer of the Symfony Barcelona and Symfony Catalunya conferences in Barcelona. I've been involved as well in PHP Barcelona events. I've been focused a lot on small events in Barcelona around developers. That part of my life I was very focused, and my whole life was going around that.
Okay. But you were working at a company. You were doing the talks.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I was working in a lot of companies.
Like you weren't like focusing 100% on your own company yet.
No, that was not my company. I'm talking about like 15 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
And meanwhile, I was I was working with companies. I was spending my free time on building community stuff for other people. It was like my strategy to grow as a developer, as a public person. I am almost 14, and I don't think that helped me a lot at that age, but it was something fine. It was something very fun, and I knew a lot of people there.
Okay.
So, and 8 years and a half, I was building my own company, that is API Search.
Okay, like 8 years ago, you started your own company. And how do you go from, how that happens, from where you were at that point to starting your own company? What was the trigger for you to do that?
Well, I decided to create projects for third-party companies. And one of my projects was a library, online library. And once and again, I had the marvelous opportunity to create yet another search engine from the scratch.
Okay.
Which is something stupid, basically because all search engines are almost the same.
There was already existing stuff?
Not actually, but it was not my first search engine. I was working with the search engine on Ulabox, I was working on other search engines, and it was like, once again, I need to create something from the scratch, which is not the main goal of a good developer.
Yeah.
And I remember that I had this feeling that could be my last search engine, and it's been my last search engine.
Okay.
And I started to create that project from the technical part, from the technical perspective, like it was the
coding also.
Exactly, exactly. Something that I could reuse on other projects.
Okay.
But it was my main goal. I was not expecting to taking that project as a service.
You were like, I'm going to reuse this into other projects.
Something for me, like a component.
Yeah, I see.
I remember that everything was okay, and one day I decided that maybe it could be a good idea to
sell it, to convert it to
as a service or as a premise, but to try to make some money on that project. And I'm talking about 8 years ago.
Okay. 2014.
Before COVID and before everything happened.
When the good times. The better times.
Are you sure?
The less strange times.
Are you sure? I'm not sure.
A little bit. Okay. Sorry, my mic.
And since now it's been 8 years working with API Search.
Okay.
And last year I had the tremendous opportunity, the tremendous luck, and something that if you don't have luck, it's something that doesn't happen at all.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity.
Yeah, and a company that was, I was, the competent. It's like competencia, like another company that
competitor.
Was exactly another
one of your competitors.
One of my biggest competitors just knocked to my door and told me, okay, we want you and we want your project. And they bought me That's
You say, show me the money, baby.
that's that's the demonstration that everyone has a price.
Yeah.
I had my price,
You had your
and
price.
they pay my price.
Okay.
That's it.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
No, it's
Nice.
like until this point sounds like a happy story. Nice. So
It's a happy story. I
Okay.
think that it's happy enough taking into account how it's been the process of starting from the scratch something, and to build something that it has the potential to be sold alone from the scratch.
yeah.
And I think that it's important to understand that on that process, it happens a lot of things.
A lot of sorry.
A lot of things.
A lot of things
A lot
happen
of
during that
things happen.
process.
Exactly.
Okay.
Good things, bad
Not so good
things,
thing.
and even worse things.
Okay. Okay. So how did it all start? Like when you started your company, how was your process like? I don't know. Did you like, okay, I'm going to convert this myself into, I don't know, make a website, start selling it to some clients?
No. No.
Did you create the company? Did you hire people? Like, what was like a little bit like the?
No,
how did it all started and how did it go? Like
I had
during the years.
I had the vision, and because I am a developer, I think that it makes sense to have that vision.
Which vision? More
That's
technical one, or
technical tech stuff as a service. Like to put technical stuff in the middle of the quality. And maybe if you go all around, they will sell you. They will say you that first of all you need to have something, an MVP. Then you have something very, very basic, and you have to go to the clients, try to sell that basic stuff to understand if that people are going to pay
they validate
something.
your idea.
Exactly.
Okay. So how was your process back then?
Completely different.
Why-
My
how did
process
it
was the stupid one. I want to do that. I don't even know if someone is going to pay me anything, but I want that. That's it. There was no case study. There was no. I was not. I
But
didn't.
how are you doing your first sales? Like, were you doing call reaching?
But-
or like,
That happened like 3 or 4 years later. Or maybe 2 or 3. I don't remember. But
okay.
I spent a lot of time on the technical stuff,
Okay.
and
So you would say like during those 2 or 3 years, you weren't getting income from your company yet, or
I didn't get an income from my company like for 5 years.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, and
It's a lot of time. Like it's a lot of time. So like people understand like for 5 years you didn't get the income from your company, but then 3 years later you sell your company as a success story. You know? So okay.
And this is something that people need to understand, that this is not something that happened in 1 year or in 5 months. Of course, it depends on the type of company.
Yeah.
The story of my company is that an MVP, it's not something that it's not doable in 1 month, because your competitors have a lot of things as a base of the service. So maybe we have 3, 4, 5 competitors, that's it. And right now, I think that we only have 2 or 3 competitors. Competitors that really,
You consider them competitors.
exactly. But all of that competitors have a lot of time, a lot of investment
A
behind.
lot of resources.
So if you want to make something like an MVP, you need to spend a lot of time, what means a lot of money. Without that, you don't have an MVP. Basically because no one is going to pay nothing. So that was something that I had in mind from the beginning, and I barely knew that I had to spend a lot of time. I should spend a lot of time before having that MVP. So that is something different from my company, because you can find a lot of companies that doing an MVP with one landing page on internet, then spending some money on marketing, then you have something. That was not my case, which makes Apisearch a more complex business.
Like a more complex business.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I see. Okay, but then again, at what stage you start selling your product, and how was it, like a very short idea of how was it implemented? Like, was it like a online software plug and play? Was it like, hey, you need your technical team to implement this on your existing project? How was that, and how, like, both technical, or like how was the software and how was the
The software changed a lot from the beginning. I remember that I started thinking on the product as a SaaS. Then we closed the company because we saw that even with that MVP, we were not mature enough to start selling as a SaaS. And then the product turned to be an open source project.
Okay.
Without
From SaaS to open source. Okay.
Exactly.
And how does it go back to business? Like in terms of
Going back to SaaS.
So you kind of had that journey, like, okay, SaaS, open source, we're going back to SaaS.
You can
Going
do
back to SaaS totally, or like a
Totally.
community edition and premium
at the
edition,
beginning,
or-
no, totally, yeah. I come from open source, so open source was, the way I was feeling myself the most, confident working on open source. But no one is going to pay you anything on open source. I mean, in that case,
Yeah, okay.
because you have SaaS products, which it really makes more affordable for you on long term. So I came back to SaaS, and the way of making money off AppSearch was monthly revenue, depending on your traffic.
Okay.
The more searches you have,
Okay.
the more.
So you
first,
integrated your search custom into that project of your client.
it is important to explain what is AppSearch.
Yeah, please. go
Basically,
ahead.
because maybe a lot of people is saying, okay, but AppSearch is just
Yeah, for a regular
search.
user, what would that mean? No, like, or for maybe a webmaster or something like
Exactly. AppSearch is a search engine for e-commerce. Basically, when you enter an e-commerce and you want to search a product, then
that. That's the niche, e-commerce.
That's the niche.
Okay.
Exactly. When a user wants to, search some dress on that e-commerce, the person will press the lookup
Okay.
icon. All that experience, all that engine, everything that happens in that box,
In that search,
it's AppSearch.
It's AppSearch. Okay.
Exactly.
Front end, back end, everything.
Everything.
Going on.
Everything.
And you're integrated very tightly with your
With a feed, exactly. Then you can take your feed, that it can be our feed or one of our competitors' feed or one of Google Merchant feed, for example, if you expose your products to Google.
Okay.
Then we can understand what are your products, and then we build from the
search
scratch
engine.
that search engine.
Okay.
So the more searches you have in your e-commerce, the more you're going to pay.
You're going to pay. Okay, so it's traffic based.
Exactly.
Okay.
One of my bad points as a entrepreneur is that I was very bad
The pricing. or-
pricing. Exactly.
Okay. And
Which
how did that evolve? Like, did it change during time?
it changed in a good way when Empathy Holdings, that is the company that bought AppSearch last year, checked the project, integrated me in a more than 250 people company.
Wow.
I'm still CEO of AppSearch,
Okay.
but I have more resources and I can focus myself on what is my best skills.
Okay. So at this stage, you're still CEO of AppSearch?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still CEO, but I am part of a holding,
of a bigger
and
company.
in that holding there are two competitors of AppSearch.
Okay.
The good point is that inside the holding we have segmented three kind of users, three kind of e-commerce,
To which you sell the different products.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's Motive, small clients, AppSearch, medium clients, and Empathy platform, the big clients, like Carrefour, for example.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes total sense because there's no there's like some services from some clients, some for other
Exactly.
clients, right?
It was very interesting and very funny at the beginning because we didn't have that segmentation. So a lot of people, me included, we didn't understand, okay, we have one client, we want to put API search or motive. Why?
Which solution do we?
So we define it's very good the way of segmentation of the clients, and I think we have solved pretty good that point.
Nice. Interesting. How do you think? Do you feel about the kombucha?
Pretty good.
Okay.
It's my first time.
Healthy.
It's my first time. It's
Your first time.
It's interesting.
It's interesting. Okay, well, I have to tell you, around here, a lot of people start to drink this. Like everybody's asking about, I want a kombucha. So
Pretty good.
gaining traction, this product.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about, how was your life or with your company during the years? Like, have you been a solo entrepreneur at your company during this whole time? Have you been
most
like
of the
on a
time.
team? Like,
Most
how
of the
did that
time I've been
happen?
solo entrepreneur. Of course, it's not fair because my family was behind me.
Supporting you in some ways.
Supporting in
even
some
like,
ways. I've been
financial or
financial,
involved in the project.
no financial.
Okay, but I mean, like, in terms of your team, were you working on a team with a team?
No, it's part of the time. In some in a very small temporary
Short time?
slots.
Okay.
I've been working with some people help me.
Okay. Technical parts or some other parts of the business? Or?
Both of them. But
Okay.
Even in that moment, I've been the gear of the project.
Okay.
So basically, I've been leading I've been dealing with technical part, back end, front end, financial stuff, infrastructure,
Okay.
Cold selling.
So I think you can call yourself, like, I don't know if you know the concept of indie entrepreneurs or indie hackers. There's actually a website that is called Indie Hackers. It's basically like people that have there are solo entrepreneurs building a product themselves. Like they don't have a team. They just there are one person.
Exactly.
Like because some people especially if you come to conferences, like a lot of people will tell you like, hey, you need to follow these steps. You need to have a team. You need to have this all this process, But maybe there are other ways of, depending the project you're working on, to move that forward,
It's interesting because I don't consider myself as a patient guy. I'm not patient at all.
You've been waiting for 5 years to have your product sold?
Before API Search, I think that my maximum time on a company was 1 year, which makes me someone
Working at a company.
at a company.
Okay.
So I'm not the patient guy.
Okay.
I like to be fluid in everything.
Engage with new
Exactly, and
new
having
projects.
new ideas and working with that ideas. So
Okay.
so even don't considering me as a patient guy, I've been working with the same company like more than 8 years.
That is your company in this
That
case.
it's my company. And it's something strange. It's something strange because it defines me a lot that even if I'm not a patient guy, I can be very patient if I have something in mind.
Yeah, like you believe in your project, you
Exactly.
you feel you have to do
And
this.
I think that it's something that defines so much what you were talking about, like indie entrepreneurs or whatever. I think that a lot of that people share with me that that way of living and way of understanding life.
Yeah, I think most of those people are like very consistent, I would say, people. Like they really have like a very strong work ethic on their own projects, no?
But again, I'm not constant. I've never been constant, even at work. But
Micro? Okay.
But in the case of Apisearch, it's surprising how I've been like working on the same road, on the same direction from the beginning. It's and you need to be very focused on the goal. You need
What
to
was the goal
understand.
for you at that?
I don't know.
Like you felt you had to do that.
My goal for me was that I started something. I made a lot of effort to make something small a little bit bigger. Then I had my first clients. Then I had the next clients, and even if it was very slow, then the ball was bigger and bigger year by year.
So it kind of changed during time, like your vision and your goal.
Understood that things are slow. And that's it. My goal, of course, if you create a company, your goal is always to try to sell that company or to make a lot of money on that company.
Or to have a nice lifestyle with your company, if you can. Like,
But
if you can have a job where you can be
you don't
happy.
have a good lifestyle if you create that kind of companies. You can, but then it's a lot of effort. At least for me, I spent a lot of energy on building that company, on understanding how to create everything. I mean, not always to work my 8, 10, 12 hours per day, but to invest your energy in learning new things, how to create your first client. No one came to my house, okay, you can do that because it's going to work with you. It's going to work for you. That's not how things work in an entrepreneur stuff. Then I started, investing a lot of time on understanding how to make things happen. And this, of course, you can even with that. I had 2 children.
You have 2 children. You said
2 children. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow! Congratulations.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I mean,
Thank you.
you have 2 children.
Yeah.
You have your company. You're still looking good. So
Okay.
still you're alive and moving. So congratulations.
But to be honest with you, I think that now is where my real life starts. Like, I have that feeling, and right now it's
what's the transition or the change you're seeing yourself into right now?
You were talking about a good lifestyle. Now I'm trying to make a good
Now you're kind of transition more coming from all the hard work you put into your company to transition to a good lifestyle.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now I can relax because I have a whole team behind me helping with
your
everything,
project
and I can focus on what I like to do, which is developing. I mean, I'm a developer, I'm a programmer, I love programming. I think that I could do programming stuff.
Are you still programming on your?
Yeah.
I congratulate you for that also, because
that's a good congratulations. Yeah, exactly.
Because as there are developers, we kind of want to stick with the technical part mindset during the whole life. We don't care we're going to have a business, whatever. We want to be able to still play with our toys.
Exactly.
With the technical toys.
Exactly.
So that's nice.
Maybe that it's going to change in the future somehow. But I'm not good at managing people. I'm not good at that.
Yeah.
Which is something that it's
real
visible, and I don't hide myself. I like programming. I think I can. The best areas where I can provide my best is
on the
programming, technical stuff, making decisions, both from technical part and business part. But I'd like to program until the end of my days. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your idea also. So a few days ago, I saw your post on LinkedIn. You were you wanted to start a video podcast. You wanted to talk about entrepreneurship and also things like mental health challenges. How would you define that? Like for you, maybe, like in terms of the challenges you've been through, or maybe hardest moments or things like that?
You can find on YouTube a lot of videos talking about how to create companies, how to be an entrepreneur, how to sell, how to develop, everything. And if you go to internet, I'm sure that you will be able to get all the clues, all the tools to start creating your own company. Okay. But everything, all that videos, almost every one of them, are going to tell you how to do things. And if you don't do that, then you're going to make something bad.
You're not doing it the right way.
That's not my style. I want to connect with people that even they understand that they're not good enough for something, they are good enough to try it.
They can still try it their own way.
Exactly.
You don't have to follow a specific...
I don't want to tell anyone anything how to do it, because I'm sure that other YouTubers, other people are going to have the greatest tools for that. But what I've learned that years is that creating something like a company, there is something that you can never abandon. It's your mental health. It's how you feel it, how you wake up every morning. And
how was it for you? I guess a bit of mix between excitement and maybe hardship.
Exactly. And half of the days you will wake up and you will tell yourself you're stupid. And that's good. And I think it's important that you need to understand that you're not stupid, but you're doing something very difficult. And that it's going to be 5 of 10 days. The other 5 days, 4 of them, you will say, I'm not stupid, but I'm not good enough. And one of them, you're going to say, well, I can do that. I can do that. So I think it's important to detect that 9 days and to work with yourself to understand that even if you're not the best, even if you go to YouTube and you don't connect to anyone because they are telling you how to do things and you don't know how to start doing them, even with that, you can go on.
Yeah.
And it's been my life, it's been my story on Happy Search. I spent a lot of time telling to myself, you're not going to do anything. A lot of people around me told me, that's enough.
Yeah, like, hey, why don't you stop here?
Exactly.
Like my mom tells me, why are you going with your company? Go get hired somewhere.
Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion. Which means not because everyone has an opinion, none of them is important for you if you have another opinion.
Yeah.
A lot of people will tell you, your company doesn't have that valuation. I'm asking for...
But the work you put into it, your...
I'm putting my company a $500,000 valuation, and someone is going to tell you, I'm not going to pay more than 50,000 or 100,000. Which means that you're right, he's right, or she's right. And you will find that stages constantly in your life if you do something like that. And this is why, with a friend, we started thinking about what's next. I think that, as I said in LinkedIn this morning, I've been like 10 years without absolutely anything in my life to show to anyone because my life was very plain and very, like constantly working. But I think that right now I have something to say. And this something to say is not, okay, I created a company and I sold for whatever.
Yeah.
That's not a good story. A good story is to make other people understand that it's something doable, even
it's going to be hard.
If it's hard.
It's challenging.
If you need to to rely on other things meanwhile, if you need to understand that if you're focused on that, then you are not going to be that focused on that. And it's something that it's a process. It's a process. And right now, after more than 8 years, I can make a list of a lot of things that
learnings.
Exactly. And this is why with that friend we want to create a 6 episodes video podcast in Spanish or in Catalan. We don't know yet.
Okay.
With important people that created something and not succeeded but failed, which for me is even more important to talk about failures that succeed. Because again, if you go to internet, then you will have a lot of success people, which for me it has no interest at all. Because everything is okay. I did something, and I learned a lot of money.
Yeah, like
okay.
Like you have to focus, like when you're working on something, like when you do workouts, no, it's like you have to focus on yourself and your way and your process and your time, and not how everybody else is doing, no?
Exactly. It's more how to focus on exercise, on the physical part, on the mental part, to understand that time is it's finite. It's something that there's only exists.
Unlimited.
It's limited. And you need to do your best with that time, and that's it. It's that simple. So how can you create a company from the scratch and sell it after 8 years with that time?
Yeah.
Oh.
It is a challenge.
It's a challenge, yeah. And I feel very with a lot of luck, because of course a lot of people tell me that to have that luck you need to find for that luck. But even if you find that luck, to have that luck is something difficult. And I feel very lucky to...
Yeah. After all this time, you had the opportunity, like the breakthrough with your project.
I'm extremely lucky for that. And I'm extremely thankful for...
all the effort you put in, it finally paid off.
Exactly. Angel, the CEO of Empathy Holdings, came to Barcelona and talked with me. And that was the beginning of my new life. And of course, there is an effort behind from my part, but it's an effort from his part to see me something profitable. Which at the end, when you acquire something, you want to make money with that something.
Yeah, but I guess maybe he had enough technical and business knowledge to understand what you had in your hands.
Exactly.
And that he could take that and
what he saw
and multiply it and
exactly. What he saw is that App Search was and is a project that it's pretty easy to create new stuff, and it's pretty easy to take a potential client and make something on top of that. And make a product on top of that, and to create a new client that is not going to pay you 20 euros per month, a lot more. And he saw on App Search that the churn rate was very small.
Like when you got clients, they stay with you.
Exactly. Maybe
that's a good
5% per year was a churn. And this is something that he saw as an opportunity. And I think that it is still a good story, because right now on Empathy Holdings we're creating something even bigger, and we are trying to take all the market on all 3 segments. And I'm very happy because I'm part of that.
Okay. And are they like all the products that they have, like the part of the same holding, are all of them focused on e-commerce solution, the search for the e-commerce, or do they have different niches?
Yes. Well, we have a lot of companies inside the holding, but the 3 main companies focused on.
We have 5 minutes left.
5 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
The 3 companies focused on search engines are mainly focused on e-commerce. Yeah.
Okay. Great. How would you say, like maybe very shortly, like what was like your hardest moment during all this? Like maybe one moment that you say like,
One of my first clients, my biggest client at that moment, I created a cold call.
cold?
A cold call. I called, the marketing manager of that company. Okay, this is Apisearch. He was one of my competitors, and he changed to Apisearch.
He was working with the competitors. Okay.
Exactly, and he changed to Apisearch. I'm talking about like 3 years ago, no, 2.5. And I remember that one day he called me. Our conversion rate has dropped like 50% with that change. It's something.
Oh, they said that their sales went down.
Exactly.
With your
Online. Exactly.
search.
Exactly. I remember to go to La Maquinista because there was like a clue that was maybe something related to Mac. And I remember going to La Maquinista very fast to buy a Mac, to try to understand why in Mac.
Some technical stuff that was failing on a Mac.
Exactly. I don't remember how it worked, but of course, yeah, and that was a reality. The conversion rate was dropped like 50%.
50? Half?
Half, yeah.
Wow.
I remember talking with them, and I was telling you, go back to my competitor because I don't want you to lose money
Lose your
because
money?
of me.
Okay.
And I remember he told me, we are not going to do that. Please solve it as fast as you
Wow.
can. I solved in 2 weeks.
2
weeks.
2 weeks.
And I remember I started crying when that
desperation,
moment.
like,
You know what that moment as a technical guy, when you, in your mind, you find
The solution.
and in your mind everything, it makes sense somehow. I remember start crying because the problem is that Apisearch was too fast for that company. It was too fast. Everything was loaded before even they started loading everything. And I remember that just changing 2 lines of code, everything worked
Solve
properly.
everything,
Exactly.
yeah. Typical crazy developer problem. Studied for 8 hours,
Exactly.
solve it in 2 minutes.
Exactly.
And
In
then the client
that
says,
case was 2
"Why
weeks.
do I have to pay you 10
2
hours?"
weeks and solved in 5 minutes.
Wow, that's.
I remember that I was very scared because losing that client would have mean to close the
Closing.
company. Yeah.
Wow.
It was like 90% of the revenue of the company at that
Wow.
moment. I think that was the first day of the next stage in the company because I realized that
You said like, hey, I need to change.
that's exactly. No, and I remember that everything turned better from that moment.
Okay.
I think that one of the best clients I've had because of that. And I owe everything to that guy.
Is he still with you?
No. No, it's something that happened.
Yeah.
It's one of that 5% of churn.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was lucky that at the moment that they went
At
out.
that moment, they were patient with you to.
Exactly. And when they left the project, then I had a lot of clients just to make things easier for me.
Yeah, you
to
were already
assume
more
that-
stable,
that-
more mature.
Exactly.
Company.
Exactly.
Okay. We were going to have some questions, but apparently people are enjoying beers.
No,
so we are
a lot of
not
English.
that interesting as beers.
A lot of English people here.
Yeah, a lot of English people around here.
We are lucky. Eh?
Paying attention to the podcast, so thank you very much.
All that Erasmus people that is doing what they have to do here. Eh?
So maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. Closing, maybe like to finish with a technical idea, like what do you think about the whole PHP being dead thing?
Boh. Are you sure?
Yeah, like maybe in,
Do you know Thermomix?
no. What is? It's
What?
a device for cooking.
Exactly.
Okay.
Do you think Thermomix is dead?
No, I think people are still using them.
PHP neither.
Okay, that's a very good way to put it.
I've been working with PHP in 20,
me too.
20 years. I sold the company for a lot of money with PHP. Do you think that PHP is dead?
No, I don't. I also want to debate that idea that I think in business, maybe the coding language that you choose, for any new developers that aspire to be the entrepreneurs also, I think you can do a lot of stuff with a lot of languages.
Exactly.
Maybe if you were a Python guy or a
Exactly.
JavaScript guy, you could still have done what you've
Exactly.
done today.
The value comes when you take anything and you make money with that. It can be Pascal, it can be PHP, it can be Golang. If you have the sources, if you have the tools, and you can build something relevant on top of that, then it demonstrates that nothing is dead. Just maybe are dead all the people that
We have
used
1 minute.
1 minute.
So maybe let's wrap up the event. So first of all, thank you very much, Mark,
De nada.
for being here. De nada, gracias. And we are so happy for having you.
Thank you
We
very
hope to
much.
see you again a lot. Maybe
would
around
like to.
here, since you live here, you can come to the monthly event.
I would like
You can
to.
come to next year
Absolutely.
event. And I'd like to remember that we're having this podcast live, but we are also going to have tomorrow 8 more podcasts. So stay tuned, people. Come back tomorrow if you're on YouTube.
In Spanish.
Those are going to be 6 in Spanish and 2 in English. So we want to keep seeing you tomorrow, to keep listening to our podcast if you cannot come to the event. So thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, all the listeners. Thanks, Mark.
Bye bye. ¿Dónde están los Erasmus, ¿Dónde están los Erasmus?
Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a StartupMat.